What's up, guys? Today we're going to be installing what I think Power Driven Diesel calls a boost tuner, but essentially it's really a wastegate tuner. We're going to unpackage this, show you what we got from them, and go ahead and start installing it on the Fummins. Alright guys, so this is what it is. This is straight from Power Driven, and I've actually had this for quite some time and just haven't installed it. Can't really see me, but essentially I believe what it is a needle valve. Essentially there's some line, some adapter depending on what you need to plumb everything in here. Comes with all the fittings, T's, hose clamps, and then of course the bleeder valve. Now essentially I think how this works is you feed boost into it. This needle is just a spring and seat in here, so it requires boost to open this and then sends that out to the wastegate. Now typically wastegates are tuned to roughly, I think, 20 psi. It starts to open your wastegate and start dumping off pressure out of your exhaust housing. At least on my turbo, it has an internally regulated wastegate, so that's how that works. And this is to, if you want to increase that number or whatever, that's what this is for. You can't go below whatever spring seat pressure is set on the current wastegate unless you were to respring it, and I'm not going to. But since I have this, we're gonna go ahead and install it. We'll see what it does. Alright guys, we're working on that turbo tuner, as Power Driven Diesel calls it, and really it's a wastegate tuner for pretty much any wastegate setup or turbo setup that you could really think of. It'll probably work on it. You may need to get some different fittings or whatever depending on what turbo you have, but overall it's a pretty good kit, pretty simple install. I also am running an AFC Live, so I bought the kit specifically sized for my AFC Live, so I can just tee right into the AFC line and plumb it in, and then all I have to do is run the one line out to that wastegate adapter. Now I'll take you into the cab here and show you my wiring and stuff is not super clean under here. I still got to clean that up a bit, but this is where my AFC is mounted. Let me turn the light on so we can see right in there. Now that left line right there, that is the inlet from the manifold, so I'm going to tee into that one to feed my turbo tuner, which is going to sit right here. I already have it mounted. You won't be able to see it, I haven't threaded the knob in. And then run a line out from there around through the engine bay over to the turbo. Now on my turbo side of doing this, I've already taken out the fitting and everything that comes on the K27 from factory, which is this little guy right there. That's a banjo fitting. I already took that off, and I've adapted in the hose they gave me along with making up their two fittings to just use the quick connect style fittings that they gave me. And we got that going right here. So here's my wastegate actuator. Here's some of the tube. Now I used, this is a wire clamp for spacing out wires and stuff, and I just loosened one of these compressor housing bolts to mount that, and that gave it a nice little spot to sit on. And we'll run the line from out here straight over, follow all the rest of my lines into the cab. No big deal. Alright guys, so we're working on finishing up the turbo tuner install, and to plug off the K27 feed that used to supply air pressure to that wastegate, I actually went and got a bolt that matched that thread, and we're going to use a copper washer to seal it. But of course Ace didn't have a short enough bolt, so I went ahead and shortened it down with a die grinder, and I put a nut on there, shortened it down. I put the nut on there so that when I back it off, it'll fix the threads and it'll be good to go. So that's the last thing we have to do for the install of that turbo tuner, and I think it'll be super fun to have that in the cab and mess around with that and be able to get it maybe a little bit more pressure out of that little turbo, helping the big turbo spool up. So we'll see how it goes, but thanks for checking out the video, guys. Overall, super easy product to install. The kit was pretty complete and easy to use. The instructions pretty simple. I mean, really, there's only two things you got to hook up. Overall, not too bad to figure out, and you have to decide where you want it hooked up and stuff. Nolan finished backing that off so I could show you, and you can see all ready to go. We'll throw that in real quick, and no big deal. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you like the video, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like, comment if you have any questions, whatever, and talk to you later.
Like a glove. Oh, that's right, that video.
Boom. Boom. Done.